All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody this morning? Sorry we were a little bit late. Had some family stuff to talk out and deal with. Not me.
We all know.
No, it was us this time.
This time.
It was us. Yes, normally it is me. I would not disagree with said statement, but this time it was us.
It's funny because anytime he's with me, he says, okay, today we have to start on time, and then I have to go to work right after. I can't even go back in the house. Okay, today we have to start on time. And I'm like, what you talking about? I always start on time. It's all good. So anyway, just a window into our funnies.
But I do have to stop. So we have to do 10 minutes today. So I'm going to pop the clutch.
But it's a very good, you'll cover it. You'll do a great job.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So with that, we're still talking about the question that came in about tithing or giving, and the person is saying, it's tight financially, tight on the money side. Can we tithe or give something other than money? And kind of just for the sake of time's sake to go, I think the real connection I would want to encourage every one of us in is when things are tight like that.
Not if.
Because again, cycles of life, we all have it. I mean, again, Celine and I we're talking, the last 6 months for us financially, income wise, have been tight through all kinds of factors. Some of them our fault because we made bad decisions. And some of them not our fault because other people made bad decisions.
Yeah.
But either way, you can find yourself in desperate, and that's always nobody's starving to death. Nobody's out in the street, living in a box under the, but you can be tighter than you want it to be.
We're just saying we can relate.
We can relate. There's less income.
Yes.
Anytime we're inspired to do something from a fear basis.
Yes.
That is an indication of where we need to press in.
Yes.
Right? So if monies get tight.
Yes.
And we go,
our first thing is
I can't give.
I can't tithe. Let's use the word
Or tithe. Gotcha. Yeah. I can't tithe.
Right.
Because money's tight, I can't tithe.
Right.
Then if it's in any way a fear motivation, that is always a sign to me of, I need to tithe money. I need to give money,
right? Because
it's fear motivated, and as Christ followers, we do nothing
based on fear. We
do nothing from a place of fear.
Father's perfect love for us casts out fear. So if we're ever coming from a place of fear, all we need to press into is how has Father loved us in this area. I need to press in to get to know Him as my Papa who loves to shower me with His blessing, with provision, with all needs met, with what do you want, baby? You right? And so that just remember, if I'm afraid right now, perfect love casts out fear. That's my Heavenly Father's love for us.
So I want to do something for the time's sake, and we're going to talk more about this tomorrow and with more time because we'll endeavor to be on time. So tithing, it's a very churchified word now. I don't think it's used anywhere else in the world that I know of. It used to be a bigger thing, but basically it just means 10%. And we've all probably heard that. The tithe means 10%. Why do we talk about that? I teach it this way because that's how God wanted everyone to know we're all equal. Like there's a percentage mark on, because whether I make $1 or $1 million, 10% is still 10% of whatever that is.
Right.
So I always look at it as it was God's way of leveling the field so that everyone could, because everyone can. Because it's as big a sacrifice for the dude with $1 as it is with the dude with $1 million. And actually, as weird as it sounds, many times people with more money have a harder time giving than people with no money. And it's so funny. All you got to do is travel to the third world, and you'll run into ridiculous generosity.
Yes.
Where people will be outlandishly generous, and you're like,
when they've got nothing.
Y'all are literally dirt poor.
Where are you even getting this from?
But they are like, here, and take this, and hey, we got this for you, and we did. And I found more generosity amongst the poor than I've ever found amongst the rich. And I know that's very broad brush statement.
Very, very.
Very, very. So please,
it's possible.
If you're a millionaire, I'm not. Yeah, anyway, no, so.
Absolutely.
But it's God's way
yes.
of leveling the field. Now, coming with that, as we prosper and come into wealth, right, we are able to do more. It is, again, there is the whole quantity. Yeah, Brad, 10 cents off of $1 is still just a dime.
Yes.
And 10% off $1 million is 100,000. And you can do a lot more. So I'm not also unaware of the mechanics. But I just wanted to say that the definition of tithe is just that it's 10%. But the biggest thing about the tithe is it's, Lord, you are my source. I trust you to take care of me. And it's the biggest, and that's why to me I think tithing carried over more than any of the other offerings of the Old Testament. Tithe came over into the New Testament. Jesus talked about it. Paul talked about it in Hebrews. And so tithing is still very much with us because it is the greatest way to worship God with our finances. So it's kind of like it's the highest form of financial giving.
Yes.
Right? Because it started the whole process in the beginning.
Right.
And it's tied to righteousness because in the story of Abraham, and this is the first time tithing appears in the Bible, Abraham goes out, God miraculously delivers him and his people from this enemy invasion. He meets a man by the name of Melchizedek, right, who I believe is what's called a Christophany, a pre-Bethlehem appearance of Jesus. And there, Melchizedek declares over Abraham, you are blessed by God Most High, the maker of heaven and earth. And Abraham's immediate response was, here's a tithe.
Okay. If I'm blessed, then that means I'm giving you tithe. 10% of all the spoils of what just happened.
So the reason why I say tithe is the highest form of giving is because in Bible teaching, it's directly tied to the reality that we have been blessed by God. And again, and we don't have time right now for this, but all throughout the Old Testament, there are different types of or kinds of offerings that I think give us a picture of ways we can give and the heart expressions behind first fruits, wave offerings, drink offerings, and they're great examples of seasons and times of life that we can go, here, I give this kind of offering because this just happened.
Exactly.
Right? Yes. But they're not required. And even this, and even tithing isn't required in the sense of if I don't tithe, I will cease to be blessed.
Right.
Because again, the
blessing came first.
Blessing came before the tithe. The tithe was the first initial offering and response to the reality that we are blessed.
So I do want to say this, that the moment you feel like, oh, I can't tithe right now because I don't have enough, that means that you need to probably take some time to meditate on the blessing.
Yes, absolutely.
That God has blessed you.
Very good.
Because then when you understand that, then the response will be, oh, wait a minute. Me being blessed has nothing to do with my bank account or with the government check that didn't come in right or with the paycheck that didn't make it this time or with the whatever, with the donation that never made it. Okay, so because his blessing, your account does not have anything to do with his blessing on your life, right? But the more you meditate on the blessing on your life, the more it will affect your bank account.
Absolutely.
And because again, our sources on earth, our resources on earth, whoever is giving you that money, they're not your source.
That's right.
So if you start meditating on your actual source and how much he says he has blessed you and that he's pronounced that over your life, it will start to change your identity.
Yes.
And you will not see yourself as someone who is just constantly just scraping by because
Yes.
of whatever's happened in
Yes.
your life, or because of your status in life,
Yes.
your education level, your ability to do things, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It does not matter. And so your identity is going to start changing when you go, I'm the blessed of the Lord.
Yeah.
And he has blessed me so much that not only will I tithe, I'm looking for ways to give, and the Lord can open other doors to get things to you that you need.
Yes.
Stuff and money.
Yeah.
And food and all the things.
All the things. Well, and for time's sake, because we're going to say we're going to pick up, but you get right where I wanted to go.
Oh, good.
Which is, so for today, what I want you to do today is focus and meditate and go find the scriptures that talk about you are blessed. And Selena, if you could put in some of those in there in the comments, especially in Ephesians chapter 1, those after verses 4 or so down, where it talks about you have been blessed with. You have been blessed. That's why I think, because the answer again is can anything replace monetary or material giving? And my answer is no. Not because of anything more than...
I'll just make one small correction.
Sure.
Tithing.
Tithing, yes.
Okay, can other things replace my tithe?
No.
No.
Nothing can replace the tithe because of what we just said.
Yes.
Because of how it's connected.
Yes.
Right?
But there's all other kinds of giving that we can do with our time and our gifts and our, talents and all of that stuff. That's different than the tithe.
Yeah.
And that's the main point we wanted to make sure was understood today.
And tomorrow, help me remember, when we come back tomorrow, we're going to talk about a pathway toward tithing. Right? So help me remember that. But I got to go. I hate to. I'm so sorry. Got to get to a meeting that's set. But we love all of y'all. Great to see everyone that's here. Love the comments.
Tomorrow.
And so if you do ask more questions, again, if we want clarifying things, man, come
Pop
on.
them
Ask them on in the comments and messages, and we'll be glad to continue this conversation. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.